45-year anniversary of UPTH. I remember as a young doctor, after my youth service, I wanted to do Obstetrics and Gynaecology. And UPTH was just beginning then. That was in 1984. So if it's 45 years, UPTH must have been established like 4 years or so, or 5 before I wanted to join the teaching hospital. And I really had, some feelings about joining a new teaching hospital because I wanted to do my residency very fast. And it is usual for you to want to go to a center where the pass rate is high, and things like that. But one of my professors advised me and said, look, you can pass your exams anywhere if you have the right people to train you. And he mentioned that Professor Harrison was in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynaecology, a very great obstetrician and gynecology, international reputation. And then also that a young man, as he said it there, Professor Nemi Briggs was there, and also Professor C.T. John. And that with these 3 people, they should be able to train me. And true to type, I joined the hospital in 1984. And I must say that, as one of the second set of residents that were employed. And since then, it's been a very, I would say, smooth and good journey because I learned a lot of skills from these people, just true to type. What my mentor, Professor Ajabo said. I worked with Professor Harrison, I worked with Briggs, I worked with C.T. John. And I grew through the ranks and became head of department in 2006. And as head of department, we had moved from the old sites to the new sites. And the new sites, had a lot of challenges for which we were able to navigate most of it to get stabilized.
What was your role in the setting up of the IVF Center in UPTH?
The CMD then was Professor Etawo. He was very helpful. He gave us a space. Now, getting the equipment became a problem, and over time, Professor Ojule now provided the equipment, and eventually the place was set up in 2017. So it took 10 years, before we actually started operation in the IVF section. And not only IVF do we do the entire assisted reproductive technology. It was not easy because even some of my colleagues and felt they were skeptical, but I persisted. I really persisted and tried every means with the support of Dr. Wada, who he set up quite a lot of IVF centers, including the National Hospital. So he beat us to it. We were able to now set up and start operations in 2017. We also had the support of Mr. Gabe. Gabe is an embryologist who has set up practice everywhere. So he gave us some credit facilities and some concessions, to set up the laboratory. And the laboratory, and how did I set it up? In the department already, we have like 2-3 consultants who were very proficient in IVF. They were doing it outside. So it's a matter of just getting, the equipment and getting a space and then getting it started in this hospital. So that is what we did. And then luckily, we were able to record our first success in 2019, which was celebrated by the current Chief Medical Director. And then I hope and pray that the Chief Medical Directors will continue to support that unit, because it's not all about making money. Sometimes people think that IVF, you make a lot of money. That's not true, because the equipment, they are expensive, and the consumables particularly are very expensive. The drugs, as the exchange rate is going up, the drugs are going up. So the technical fee is shrinking, so there's not much profit. So the CMD is the interest of the CMD to make sure that the skill and the services provided. Yes, I wish the hospital progress. I wish that the hospital will find itself in a place where, patient satisfaction will be uppermost, and also in a position where everything can be done here. Everything can be done here, so that people don't have to travel abroad. My joy right now is that I'm not talking about IVF or even ONG now, is that I see some of the young boys that we trained are now super specialists doing things that hitherto would have been done outside the country. So there's no point traveling abroad. I always say that the way you work in public sector, that is even the way you're going to work in the private sector. So if you want to set up your own practice, either in retirement or while in service, is exactly the same way that you are going to work for yourself. And if you are not a doctor that is committed to medical practice, to being humane and empathetic, you are not likely to be, even if you are in your own private sector.